Hello, everyone, and welcome to this information session about Rikkyo University's global program. I am Professor Eriko Tauka from the College of Law and Politics. I'm going to first introduce our university, the Rikkyo University, to you. And second, I will explain the global program of the College of Law and Politics, focusing on what you study in the program. Then I will move on to the explanation about the admission requirements, application procedures, and scholarship opportunities. Rikkyo University was founded in 1874 and is one of Japan's most prestigious universities located in the heart of Tokyo. Our university has a rich history of over 150 years. So we have 10 undergraduate colleges, including our College of Law and Politics, with a total of 19,000 students. So each college has a graduate school, and we have about 950 graduate students altogether. Among all students, about 800 are degree-seeking international students, so we have a large international students body. Our university is conveniently located with two campuses. The main campus is in Ikebukuro, which is in the central part of Tokyo, with easy access to both Narita and Haneda airports. Ikebukuro is a major dining, shopping, and entertainment district. The area has Chinatown and an aquarium and an indoor amusement park and many other attractions. It's also known as a hub for anime and Japanese pop culture. So our second campus is in a city called Niza, which is in Saitama Prefecture, just outside Tokyo. As you can see on the map, it takes about 40 minutes to get there from the main campus by train and the bus. If you study in the global program, you will spend most of your time in the main campus. Then the picture on the bottom left shows the main campus, while the other one on the bottom right shows the second campus. So the main campus is a nice mix of old and new. The picture in the top left one shows our signature building with ivy that beautifully changes colors with the seasons. And then the bottom left picture shows our chapel. Then the top right one is our library, which has a modern design and an extensive collection. It houses about 1.8 million items. So now let me explain the global program. So first, here's the structure of the College of Law and Politics. The college has three departments, the Department of Law, and Department of Politics, and the Department of International Business Law. The global program is part of the third department, the Department of International Business Law. The Department of Law admits 360 students each year, and the Department of Politics admits just over 100. And the Department of International Business Law admits just over 100 students each year. So in total, we accept just under 600 students each year. Then the global program admits 45 students annually. Since it's a small program, many classes are small, so which creates like a good opportunities for interactive learning between faculty and students. The motto of the global program is this one, like crossing borders through a legal education. So what does that mean? So what will you study in the global program? So of course, you will study law in English. But the question is, what's the benefit of studying law in English in Japan? So is it to become a lawyer in Japan? Then if so, like many of you are probably thinking, well, it's probably not for me, right? So, but the answer is no, the program is not designed to train future lawyers in Japan. So then, why do we study law in Japan? So let me explain it this way. Imagine social issues in your own country or other countries. Any social issue is fine. So, for example, take environmental issues. Those are major concerns, right? And then some of you might think of income inequality or religious or gender discrimination. Those are serious issues too. Or racial discrimination. Then there are also business-related issues. For instance, a person X buys products from seller Z, but the products turn out to be fake or defective. Then what should X do? Right? When you look at those issues and then social issues and then disputes, you realize that they are shared across countries. Then let's take a look at like a racial discrimination as an example. While facing this shared issue, each country has different laws to address it. Now, Japan has its own approach to dealing with racial discrimination, but when you look at the US has its own laws, which is different from Japan. And then Germany has its own approach. And so does China. Right? The same goes to every other social issue, including business-related issues. Now, so for example, in a sales contract, buyer X received products that turn out to be defective. Then what can X do? Again, a case like this can happen everywhere, and every single country has a different law to deal with it. So in the global program, we examine different countries' laws and then compare the strengths and then weaknesses of each legal approach to find the best possible solutions to social issues we all face. This way of learning law is called comparative legal studies. So through comparative legal studies, you also learn why one country's legal approach works or does not work under specific social, economic, or political conditions. Then when conducting comparative legal studies, it is helpful to use one country's law as a foundation for comparison. So we often use Japanese law as our foundation, so you can gain knowledge of Japanese law while also learning Japanese economy, politics, and society, because you cannot understand the strengths or weaknesses of any country's laws without understanding the society they operate in. So in the global program, we use this comparative legal study extensively because they effectively develop students' critical thinking and problem-solving skills. We focus on developing those skills because they are valuable assets for working in any industry anywhere in the world. So we call these critical thinking and problem-solving skills like legal minds. So the global program builds students' legal knowledge and develops legal minds that are valuable both in Japan and internationally. That way, we can prepare our students to become leaders in any industry anywhere in the world. So this is how you cross borders through legal education. Make sense? So here's our curriculum. So in your first year, you build a foundation in law through courses like Introduction to Legal Studies, Law and Society in Japan, Law and Economics, and Legal Presentation and Writing. You will also learn contract law, tort law, and negotiation basics. In the second year, you move on to more advanced legal learning with courses like property law, comparative constitutional law, and corporate law. You will also study procedural law for handling legal disputes through courses such as civil procedure, dispute resolution, and moot court. In the third and fourth years, you will study laws essential to modern business, such as intellectual property law, competition law, and financial law. Throughout all 4 years, there are also many small seminar classes where you can explore specific legal issues in depth and conduct research on them. And then Japanese language study is also part of the core curriculum. And furthermore, since Rikkyo has long emphasized the liberal arts education as a way to develop well-rounded individuals with diverse perspectives, you can also take courses offered by other colleges. So the College of Business, Economics, Intercultural Communications, and Tourism all offer many courses in English. Then credits from those courses count toward your graduation requirements in our global program. Then the program about career after completing the global program. This program is still rather new, and we just had one first graduates this March. But as I mentioned earlier, since these legal minds are valuable in any industry, we believe you will have very wide options upon your graduation. You could work at companies operating locally or globally, or international organizations, think tanks, or NGOs. If you wish to pursue graduate studies, you might consider areas such as public policy, sociology, politics, and law. Then, if you are interested in studying abroad while studying at Rikkyo, then we encourage you to do so. We have more than 220 partner universities worldwide where you can study as an exchange student. Then the College of London Politics has partnerships with Singapore Management University, Newcastle University in the UK, the University of Western Australia, and Multimedia University in Malaysia. With the Singapore Management University and Newcastle University, we offer a semester or year-long exchange programs. And then with the University of Western Australia, we have a 3-week study program in February. And at Multimedia University, we have a 12-day study program in August. And our college also has a 4-week study program in Oxford in August. Then here are the tuition and other fees for the global program. Annual tuition is about 8,200 US dollars payable per semester. So you pay around half of this amount in the beginning of each semester. We offer several scholarship opportunities to international students. For first-year students, the third scholarship listed in the table is available. And then starting in your second year, the top 2 scholarships also become available. The top 2 scholarships are awarded based on your first-year academic performance. The College of London Politics also offers independent scholarships specifically for our students. So besides these scholarships, there are also private scholarship opportunities. Then we have our international office, and then that office will help you identify available opportunities and assist with the application process. Then about the entrance exam. So we have this entrance exam called the entrance exam for international students for admission by document screening. The name is quite long and it doesn't clearly indicate that it is for the global program. So please make note of this name when looking for more information on our website, okay? What's good about this exam is that it doesn't require a written test or an interview. Selection is based entirely on the documents you submit. Besides your high school transcript and other required documents, you will need to submit English proficiency test scores. You can submit any of the test scores listed here. Okay. Then you will also need to submit a statement of purpose. About English proficiency requirements. If you have completed at least 3 consecutive years of education in English before entering the global program, you are exempted from submitting English proficiency test scores. Then this entrance exam is available for students who want to enroll in the global program in April and also September of 2027. So we have only one exam for April and September entries. So here's how this exam works. So the online application period runs from September 25th to October 2nd. For required documents sent by mail, the deadline is October 5th. Then, after submitting all the required documents, you will receive online confirmation on November 4th. Then the results will be announced on December 7th. And if you are accepted, then you can choose between like an April or September entry. Then regardless of which one to choose, everyone goes through the same process, at least at the first phase. Okay, so the first phase is common to both April and September entry. Then, so December 7th to 14th is the first phase for tuition and other payment. Then the second phase is where things differ based on your entry choice. So if you're planning to start in April, you will submit your final admission documents between January 18th and February 4th of the next year. Then if you're going for September entry, you have a longer timeline from April 1st through May 31st of the next year to get those documents in. And as you can see, these are the specific eligibility requirements. But the bottom line is very, very simple. You will be eligible as long as you've finished high school education or something equivalent by the time you start the global program. Okay. Then you can find more information about admission requirements and application procedures on those websites. So to learn more about a scholarship and then scholarships, our curriculum and the global program policies, then you can check out those websites too. So that's it. Thank you for your attention.